Yay Networks.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Szabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Nick Adams.
I'm Anna.
Amy. And I'm Lacey G.
And boy, is it a great day to be a Swiftie.
Woo!
Oh, my goodness.
It is TayPendence Day.
Oh, I love that.
That is what people. That's what people
title.
have deemed this day as TayPendence Day. This is, as we're recording right now, this is the day after the news broke yesterday about Taylor Swift now owning all of her masters. Woo! All of them.
My God, absolutely insane. I do have to say, okay, so I'm not in the studio with you guys right now. I'm so sorry. Literally the worst timing ever for me. But I'm sitting outside right now in wine country, and I said out loud, I said, Taylor Swift owns her masters. I kid you not, a stray cat appeared and is now laying in my lap.
Stop. I was out last night at dinner, and I cheers to Taylor Swift and all of her success and exactly how proud I was of her. And then Taylor Swift Love Story came on.
Oh,
And what was so funny about that was I was telling the person I was with about the game you and I like to play, Anna, about how is this Taylor's version or not? And so I'm listening, and I said, I don't think it's Taylor's version. He said, I think it is. I think that it. And I Shazammed it. Sure enough, it was not Taylor's version. Well, why does that matter? Because establishments are still playing records and songs that aren't Taylor's version. All these people are still making money or were making money off of Taylor Swift stuff until now, because not everybody made the Taylor's version switch over. So that's what I thought was so incredible. Like right now, she's winning right now.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to get into about the ownerships and the money that she's making and what's more valuable now, the old versions or the new versions. There's so much to get to. But if you are listening to this 5 years in the future and you have no idea what we're talking about, Taylor Swift now owns her own masters. How did we get to this point? Well, you can go listen to one of our very first episodes we ever did years and years ago. It's called Revenge of the Re-Records. And we break down every minute, tiny detail from what Scooter Braun said, what Taylor said. I feel like there was even a conversation about the snarky things Justin Bieber was posting at the time. There was so much drama going around this. But basically, in 2019, Scooter Braun bought Taylor's old record label, Big Machine Records. That's where Taylor recorded her first 6 albums. And there was a lot of drama back and forth about whether Taylor was even given the chance to buy those back or for a fair price. There's a lot of drama and back and forth about that. Anyways, Scooter bought them. We found out later that Taylor and Scooter hadn't had the best relationship, so that adds more fuel to the fire. And then after that, later, Scooter then sold her work again to somebody else at Shamrock Holdings, another investment company. And then now Taylor has bought them back from Shamrock. So now, a big circle, Taylor owns her music. And it's been 6 years of drama.
And it's important to note, as we all remember, she cried whenever Scooter Braun bought her masters because they sold him to her enemy, to the one person that she said, every time his name or his client's name have come out of my mouth, it's been with tears in my eyes. Sold him to the worst possible person ever. And instead of just taking that, Kelly Clarkson was the one who initially suggested, why don't you record your own versions and put them out? And every year or every time that Taylor Swift would record a new version, she would send Kelly Clarkson flowers, which was amazing. But Kelly Clarkson, being the amazing person that she is, she was like, this is not my doings. I might have suggested it, but Taylor's a smart person. She would have done it on her own. Instead of I catapulted this. Instead of hi, it's me.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's also really important to note is, if I remember correctly, the deal that she was offered before it was sold to Scooter officially, the deal that she was offered was, in order to purchase back her masters, she would get one album back for every new album she put out, right? Like under the record label.
Uh-huh.
So she basically had to put out 6 brand new albums in order to then own her 6 previous albums. And she declined that because she basically said, no, like, I don't want to still have to work for you. I'm going to believe in myself and I'm going to trust myself moving forward. And so like that alone, I think is like such a pivotal part, and also shows who she is as a person, that she decided to bet on herself instead of being essentially held hostage to get her work back.
Yeah.
And it took 6 years, but she was able to do it.
And one of the things that I guess, just come to realize in this whole re-recordings process is that the business world sucks. There's a lot of predatory contracts. Taylor signed a bad contract when she was 15. And this happens to a lot of new artists. They don't know anything about the music industry. Maybe the only manager they have is their parent or their cousin, who also has no idea about the music industry. And so you get some contracts that may just not be favorable to the artist. Now, if you're looking at it from the business perspective, they're dumping millions of dollars into some unknown, so they need to make it worth it for themselves. So I don't know what the right answer is, but I think if you're just writing down on a napkin the perfect world, the artist should probably own their own work. They're creating it. Maybe the company can have a percentage of profits, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the artists themselves should probably just own the work that they're spending their lives creating.
Absolutely.
And what I just love about this whole re-recording process is that I think Taylor is showing that just because it's been one way for a long time, that doesn't mean it has to stay like that forever.
Yeah.
And so it's great about standing up for yourself, about believing in yourself, and moving ahead when a lot of people think you're crazy. And with just about every Taylor Swift situation, in the beginning, it seems like, man, does Taylor know what she's doing? And then in the end, it's like, oh, she's known what she's doing the whole time, and she's coming out on top.
And it's not the first time that she's done it either. She did this with the streaming services. She refused to put it, was it on Apple?
It may have been all of them, because they weren't paying their artists enough royalties.
Yeah.
And she said, like, I got a lot of money, so this isn't going to affect me a whole lot, but this is for the other artists who don't make a lot of money. They should be able to earn a fair living off of all the streams.
Yeah.
And I think also something that is different about Taylor specifically, because when this was all happening and people were like, oh, but it's just business and all this stuff, kind of like everything you just explained, Nick, like, I think what a lot of people also fail to understand is that Taylor Swift writes all of her music. So a lot of times, like in the music industry, you'll have like a group of songwriters and stuff that write a bunch of songs, and then they give it to artists and they just sing it. They put the vocals in it, and, you know, it's kind of like a collaborative effort. And Taylor does collab with other people, but 100% of every single song she's ever released has been written by her. So there's also that element of, like, it is fully her work, her life story. Like how she said at first, like, these are the songs that I wrote on my bedroom floor, you know, as opposed to, like, you know, a pop star or like a, you know, whatever kind of like other artist that gets, you know, work offered to them that then they can, you know, alternate into like how they see it. And then you split the rights with like all the different writers and producers and things like that. But, you know, Taylor Swift entirely wrote Speak Now all by herself just to prove a point. So, like, I think that is also something that is to be noted. That's something I always said when this conversation has been going on over the past couple of years, when people who aren't, you know, so fully invested in Taylor Swift as we are, which is crazy to believe that there's people out there like that. But when they would ask, like, you know, why is Taylor's version so important? And you kind of like, like, you know, owning her work and everything, but it's like, it really does come down to the fact that, like, it is her heart at the soul of it, of her work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want to touch on something that Nick mentioned about the evil music industry. So we had the AMAs earlier this week, and everybody was clowning. Taylor Nation specifically was pointing clues to AMAs. And people were suspicious about why was there an S on the end. But before we get to that, the AMAs were a flippin' mess. I did not watch them, but there were so many celebrities who did not show up. There were presenters that canceled last minute. People are taking a stand against this. And so at first we thought this is why she was pointing us to the AMAs, not to watch it, but to notice that we are not there, that we're not putting up with this. But now, in light of her owning her catalog, people are saying, because the S on the AMAs was suspicious to people on Swift Talk, because they were like, you call them like it wouldn't be capitalized. It'd be AMAs, but what Taylor Nation had capitalized and was teasing was AMA capital S. Anyway, AMAs now, people, all my albums. They think that's what she was saying, was all my albums and not necessarily AMAs. Or, I mean, she's the double entendre queen. She could be meaning all of it. Yeah. Watch me not go to the AMAs and then screw them once again because now I own all of my own music.
I guess we do have to just briefly mention, like, why is it important to own the masters? Like, yeah, you get to say that you own them, but then it does come down to the business side where you get to decide where this music is placed. If a TV show wants to use it, if a movie wants to use it, if a movie trailer or in a commercial or something like that, you are able to say yes and no, and then you're making money off of when it is used. And so that is one of the reasons that it's so important to own your own music, because just the financial side as well as the just side where you get to say, I own my own work. So it's a little bit of personal, a little bit of professional reasons.
Yeah, and she said, and I mean, we'll read her letter, but it's everything. Like, she now owns, like, her music video, the artwork that accompanies everything, like, every single aspect of her art. Like, it's not just, like, the recordings, you know?
So let's get into this big announcement on Friday, May 30th, 2025, which will now be known as one of the biggest days in Swiftie history. Taylor posted on Instagram, which in itself was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because she had gone through a very long streak. I don't remember how many days, but wasn't it her longest streak of being silent on social media? Mm-hmm. Which is wild because she had just come off the Eras tour where she was doing some posts and we loved it. And then it was just this social media drought for Swifties when we just had no idea what she was doing. And we assume a post is going to be a major announcement about a re-record. But Taylor posted on all of her social media. She posted several pictures of her with a bunch of her albums, her first 6 albums laid out on the ground. And it had a very short caption. It said, "You belong with me." And it had a heart emoji of each heart emoji was the color of her albums.
Okay, pause real quick.
Yes?
Let me just say this. Swiftie on the streets are saying that the photos were taken back on March 27th, which was the same day that Taylor Nation was randomly posting "Way to Go Tiger."
Wonderful. Yeah, I guess you can take a picture and look at like the metadata to see like when they were taken or uploaded or something like that. And so, yeah, so if this has been in the works since March, which this is a big contract, it's been in the works for a while. And, you know, on a side note, what I just do absolutely love is that her goal was to devalue the originals, and she devalued them enough to where they sold them for a fairly fair price, which we'll get into later.
Yeah,
we'll get into all that later. But anyways, and then she said, "You belong with me," a bunch of heart emojis, and then letter on my site, something like that. Very short. And so here is what she wrote. She said, "Hi, I'm trying to gather my thoughts into something coherent, but right now my mind is just a slideshow. A flashback sequence of all the times I daydreamed about, wished for, and pined away for a chance to get to tell you this news. All the times I was this close, reaching out for it, only for it to fall through. I almost stopped thinking it could ever happen after 20 years of having the carrot dangled and then yanked away. But that's all in the past now. I've been bursting into tears of joy at random intervals ever since I found out that this is really happening. I really get to say these words. All of the music I've ever made now belongs to me." Woo! That's so great.
I got goosies.
I know. Popcorn to Amy.
And all my music videos, all the concert films, all the album art and photography, the unreleased songs, the memories, the magic, the madness, every single era, my entire life's work. To say this is my greatest dream come true is actually being pretty reserved about it. To my fans, you know how important this has been to me, so much so that I meticulously recorded and released 4 of my albums, calling them Taylor's version. The passionate support you showed those albums and the success story you turned the Eras Tour into is why I was able to buy back my music. I can't thank you enough for helping to reunite me with this art that I have dedicated my life to, but have never owned until now. Popcorn Lacey.
All I've ever wanted was the opportunity to work hard enough to be able to one day purchase my music outright with no strings attached, no partnership, with full
Autonomy.
I was like, is that autoimmunity? I don't know. I'm so sorry.
We're all struggling. It's early in the morning.
I will be forever grateful to everyone at Shamrock Capital for being the first people to ever offer this to me. The way they've handled every interaction we've had has been honest, fair, and respectful. This was a business deal to them, but I really felt like they saw it for what it was to me. My memories and my sweat and my handwriting and my decades of dreams. I am endlessly thankful. My first tattoo might just be a huge shamrock in the middle of my forehead.
Oh, this.
I want to read this one.
I know it, but like all what she said so far has been wonderful. And the whole time we're reading this letter, we're like, okay, but what about?
I know.
But what about? And Lacey, you have to read this next paragraph.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be a brat,
No,
but
please
that was
do.
just perfect timing. I do want to read
yeah.
this. Yes. I know. What about Rep TV? Full transparency. I haven't even re-recorded a quarter of it. The Reputation album to me was so specific to that time in my life, and I kept hitting a stopping point when I tried to remake it. All of that defiance, that longing to be understood while feeling purposely misunderstood, that desperate hope, that shame-born snarl and mischief. To be perfectly honest, it's the one album in the first 6 that I thought I couldn't be improved upon by redoing it. Not the music or the photos or the videos. So I kept putting it off. There'll be a time, if you're into the idea, for the unreleased vault tracks from that album to hatch. Because, of course, over a year ago, in the Time 100 magazine article, she referred to these as fire. So
Yeah.
we've heard about these vault tracks for a long time. I've already completely re-recorded my entire debut album, and I really love how it sounds now. These 2 albums can still have their moments to reemerge when the time is right, if that would be something you guys would be excited about. Do you think her fans would want that?
They're going to go crazy.
She knows what she's doing with
Yeah.
that line.
But if it happens, it won't be from a place of sadness and longing for what I wish I could have. It will be just a celebration now. Popcorn Nick.
I am extremely heartened by the conversations this saga has reignited within my industry among artists and fans. Every time a new artist tells me they negotiated to own their master recordings and their contract because of this fight, I'm reminded of how important it was for all of this to happen. Thank you for being curious about something that used to be thought of as too industry-centric for broad discussion. You'll never know how much it means to me that you cared. Every single bit of it counted and ended us up here. Thanks to you and your goodwill, teamwork, and encouragement, the best things that have ever been mine finally actually are. Elated and amazed, Taylor.
So
Wow.
Love it.
Wow.
Are you crying, Anna?
Literally, I'm so emotional. Like I'm crying. I read that letter so many times yesterday. I'm speechless, but at the same time, I have like 13 million things I need to say. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just so elated and amazed and proud of her and happy for her. Like, I feel like she's truly like my close personal friend, and I just feel so much joy.
And so after this all came out, I mean, when this news broke, I was sitting at my desk at home working. Like, I wasn't anywhere exciting, right?
Where was everyone?
Where were y'all?
At work.
You were at work?
Yeah, and I just so happened to take a break and get on Instagram the minute she posted it.
Were you around anyone at work that cared to listen to you talk about
No.
this?
Oh God, no. And I'm like looking around and nobody is like, no one's having their own personal party in their office. What the heck?
Lacey, where were you?
I was at work. My phone was blowing up. I was unable to look. And then I saw, but I didn't really understand the gravity. I mean, I knew it was important. I knew it was a big deal. I didn't understand all of it, but I didn't get to read her letter. And so on the way home, on the group text, Anna's like, I fear Lacey lives in a world where she doesn't know that Taylor owns all of her own music. And I was like, I'm on my way home. I need to like sit down and read this and find out everything that happened.
Yeah, we had been texting for a solid 30 plus minutes.
Yeah.
And Lacey had not chimed in yet. And
No, it had been hours. It had been hours.
Had it been? Okay, it had been a while. And we were just like, where's Lacey? Like, this is way too important for her to not say anything. And then we found out that she was at work. So, but let's hone in on this a little bit where I think she knows what she's saying when she's doing, where I know what she's doing when she says this about re-releasing the vault tracks, if you want to hear them, and re-releasing Debut. I'm assuming those Debut will be released, like she says. It will be released. I guess according to her letter, the vault tracks would be released, but not the full album. When? I don't know what that timeline is going to be now. I mean, everything's just completely thrown off.
Yeah.
But, I just don't see a world where, even though now she does own everything, like, in her mind, I feel like she's going to finish this project. This is something she started. She's going to finish it by releasing Debut, by releasing those vault tracks. So I've seen just a lot of talk online about, like, will it even be released? Like, yeah. Because she's even saying, like, if my fans would like to hear it, yes.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know necessarily that she will do it before she does anything else.
Correct. Yeah, the timeline, who knows?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I did see someone on our Instagram at the 13 Podcast point out that next year in 2026, it'll be the 20-year anniversary of her debut album. So
Perfect.
She could do something really cool to celebrate the 20th anniversary by releasing her re-record.
But we can't forget that she did her last extension on Debut Taylor's version, so she has to make an announcement before August. Isn't that right?
I
guess, yeah. I forgot about the whole trademark issues with it. Yeah.
And listen to this synchronicity or mastermind move. Exactly 1 year ago from the announcement, the year before, Taylor played, I don't have them both in front of me. I'm sorry. But Taylor played something on her Secret Surprise songs, and Taylor Nation tweeted, Taylor said debutation. And that was exactly a year ago, which with her making this statement makes me wonder if debutation's going to be true. If she's going to release Debut and the vault tracks, do a double album that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I don't know. And honestly, she might not even know what she wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, this whole time, we thought she was so ready to release Reputation, her version, and it wasn't even recorded. So... like, she is a mastermind and we love her to her core, but the truth is she might not even know how she wants to go about it yet.
And she's just going with the flow at this point. Like, things just keep on changing.
I would just I hope cameras were following her for whatever this mysterious documentary is that she's been making. I just want to see her reaction of all of us, assuming Reputation is coming out. For the last 2 years, we've been saying Reputation's coming out in 13 weeks. Oh, here's a clue. Yeah. Like, I want her reaction to us just being so absurd and ridiculous with our theories. I would love to see it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, okay. Anna sent this in the group chat, but the funniest thing that I saw on the internet, even though I really haven't been on it, it was on my group chat, is y'all clowned so hard for Reputation, Taylor's version, that she took it back. She took the... I absolutely love that. But let's go back to a couple of things that we're learning from this statement. What exactly does Taylor Swift own now? Because that was what was confusing to me, because I just thought she got Reputation and Debut, but she got all of her old stuff, including like voice memos and stuff that she did. So now the 1989 voice memos are hers. Yep. But I didn't really understand that at first. So that's what I had to go home and like realize. But Jess Dennison on TikTok does explain exactly what she has acquired now.
In totality, and just scratching the surface, not including singles, not including all the extra things and extra special releases, extra different versions, Taylor has now bought back 361 tracks and different versions of her first 6 albums and 36 music videos, while acquiring the rights to 4 different full production live concert films. It was more than just her first 6 albums. It was the first few years of her entire career and a big chunk of her life. This was the entire point, but I think the bigger picture just makes it soak in just how much they really took from her in the first place. Not only did she get the privilege of being able to own her entire catalog through this deal, but this deal was a groundbreaking conversation in the entire music industry, and new artists and new contracts will forever be written differently because of this situation. And that's a fucking legacy.
That's a real fucking legacy to leave. I mean, that is just incredible. And I would bet that's what other people don't understand too. Even though I was happy that she owns Reputation and Debut, I didn't realize all the artwork that she owns, just everything that's gone. And then going to the restaurant last night and hearing a stolen version, a previously stolen version of Taylor Swift playing, and then realizing how big of an impact this is going to be, how big of a success and a win it is for her, truly.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about these contracts that people are just kind of signing their lives away to. I mean, your record label will own everything. They might own just the notes on a piece of paper that you wrote when you were in the studio one time and didn't even use. They own everything. Mm-hmm. And so to finally get that back is just, I mean, it's just wonderful.
It's also just insane for us to be able to witness all of this. Mm-hmm. And, like, selfishly, we have on record everything that we as fans have experienced and reacted to and everything just in this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, it's such an insane moment in music history. Like, the photos that she posted where she's just, like, holding her album, I, like, looked at it and I was like, this is the most important photo shoot in music history, you know?
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like, I really feel that way. And it's fun to think that maybe we were on her inspiration board because they happen to look like our photos.
They do.
I love that. I do want to touch on several things. Now I'm debating which way I want to go. Okay, let's look at what her acquiring all of her work means for her numbers. Jake Dayton on TikTok explains.
Following Taylor Swift's purchase of her own master recordings, Billboard has given us a huge update on Taylor Swift's album sales in the United States for the Taylor's versions and their originals. This is going to help provide some context as to how big Taylor Swift really is in the US. As of May 22nd, Speak Now Taylor's version has racked up 2.3 million equivalent album units compared to the original's 8.6 million. To put this in perspective, in order to achieve a diamond certification, an album needs to sell 10 million copies in the United States. This is a very, very small list of albums, and almost all of them happened before the year 2000. If the units for the Taylor's versions and the originals end up being combined, which is likely now that Taylor owns both, that already puts Speak Now at a diamond certification. But it just keeps getting better. Red Taylor's version has accumulated 5.18 million equivalent album units compared to the original's 9.16. For those keeping track, that is around 14 times platinum. Fearless is also sitting at around 14 times platinum. The Taylor's version is at about 3 million album equivalent units and the original is at 11.7. And finally, the Big Kahuna 1989. The original 1989 earned about 14.6 million units in the US alone, and the reissue, the Taylor's version, has earned almost 5 million. That means 1989 is on the cusp of being 2 times diamond for sales of 20 million album equivalent units in the United States alone. There are like fewer than 20 albums in the entire history of this country that have sold that many units, and like none of them, aside from Adele's 21, were in the 21st century. That is also the equivalent of 4 diamond albums. All 4 of these albums have moved over 10 million copies in the United States. Taylor is also incredibly close to passing that threshold with several other albums. For context, A-plus list artists are incredibly lucky to get a single diamond album in their entire career. This is an incredibly rare achievement. Many of the most famous musicians of all time have never done this. Taylor already has 4 albums at above 10 million units in the US alone, and she has like 4 more albums that are right on the edge. Absolutely incredible numbers. It is amazing to me that Taylor now owns all of this music. And these are just Taylor's album units. She has been unable to update her American certifications since her masters were sold because she could no longer pay for those certifications. But when she finally does, she will become the highest certified artist in United States history, above the Beatles, above Michael Jackson, above Madonna. Truly incredible, incredible numbers.
Yeah, what I love that what Jake pointed out there several times is how there's really no other artist currently that's making music that has the accolades that Taylor has. So all the records that we talk about that she's breaking, all the awards and the number of times she's won like Album of the Year and stuff like that she might never be beat on some of these because there's no one currently making music that has numbers even close to what Taylor's doing. So that just kind of makes everything that she's doing so great because who she's competing with, like Jake just said, is Elvis, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the people who have had 60 plus years of a head start on Taylor, and she's competing with them now. So it's just great.
Also, she's competing with those people when they lived in a time where the only way to consume the music was by buying albums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now we're living in a world of like the streaming era, but people are still choosing to buy her physical albums. And that I think is a huge, huge, huge testament to like how people value her music as well.
Something that I've been thinking about in this last 24 hours is that for the last week or so, Scooter Braun's been putting his nose out in the media, saying that Taylor should buy her albums back because there was this rumor that she might be able to buy them back this past week or so.
Yeah.
And Scooter was not shy about telling any media outlet that Taylor should, she really should buy those albums back. And so then when it was announced that she did buy them back, there was a source close to Taylor Swift, which is probably Tree Payne, that told, I think maybe it was People.
Yeah.
It was People magazine that there was no outside encouragement that was needed, that Taylor did this deal on her own with Shamrock. So like
right.
Scooter
and it
had no part of this.
I loved it because it said in spite of Scooter Braun, not because of him.
In spite of news stories or something like that.
Yeah.
And so then there was the thought of like, well, how much did she pay for these? How much was it? Because Scooter bought her old record label for like $300 and something million. And along with Taylor's work came music from like Rascal Flatts and Reba and some other country artists and stuff like that. I want to say Florida Georgia Line as well. So Scooter was able to buy other people's work too, not just Taylor's, but Taylor's was the biggest chunk of that, of the value. And so then he sold it for rumored to be around $300 million. Not exactly sure on that exact number. And then the source said Taylor bought them back for around $360 million, which I think that doesn't sound like the worst deal ever. I mean, that's
she has
$360 million more than I have.
Yeah, and she has all the money in the world.
For sure.
That's just like, to put it into perspective, and I think it's something that she said in the letter, like the reason she was able to do this and the reason she was able to afford it is because of the success of like the Eras tour. You know, like that's what really catapulted her like financially, which I love what someone said online about like somebody said that my favorite charity that I've ever donated to is buying my Eras tour ticket because it contributed to Taylor Swift being able to buy her masters back.
So true.
And you know, I would assume that with the success of the Eras tour, and it's been 6 years that have passed, that music has gone up a ton in value, but I don't know, to say it only went up $60 million, I mean, that's a lot of money, but it didn't go up more than, I would have assumed she would have bought it back for like $500 or $600 million. But because of the success of the Taylor's versions, the other albums lost value. And so she was able to buy them back at a better deal than what she may have been able to buy them for in the first place.
And also, do you know what played a little bit of factor into that as well? Ask allegedly Scooter Braun's out there trying to raise all the value in this. Well, what are we doing? We're clowning for new Taylor's version every single weekend. Was clowning beneficial to her?
Yeah.
Libby Lou Who talks about the financial perspective of this deal on TikTok.
My work history is in corporate finance. I've been a part of valuations and due diligence work. And it's interesting to me because normally when an asset's sold, you do a valuation. But the variables at play for this particular valuation are so interesting because Taylor's re-records has devalued the overall worth of the original recordings unless they're in her hands, because her fans value those recordings if they're in her hands. So from a Shamrock Media, is that who was holding them before, perspective, it behooves them to sell these to Taylor because they're going to get the most money for the asset, because that is where the most value lies from a valuation standpoint, and that's what you have to rely on for these types of transactions. Their asset becomes even more worthless outside of Taylor's ownership when the potential for Reputation and debut Taylor's version are still on the table. Because the more we foam at the mouths for those re-records, the less the original recordings become worth from a valuation perspective when you're looking to sell that asset, unless that sale goes back to Taylor. Now, from Taylor's standpoint, a lot of her wealth and her ability to buy these masters lies in the value of the music that she does own, her albums, Lover and Forwards, but also in the recordings. However, from Taylor's valuation perspective, the second she gets those masters back, the value of her re-records goes down. So there's a lot of variables at play because of this unique situation, which I find to be very interesting just from like a nerdy finance perspective.
It is pretty great that we're mixing all these worlds of fandom and actual real big business together. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I know that Shamrock, they're just an investment company. I don't think a lot of businesses have feelings and stuff like that, but I wonder how much of them selling it was like, we don't want to be the bad guys anymore that have Taylor Swift's music, because they will forever be the bad guys. They know, the public will not have a favorable view on Shamrock if they're continuing to profit off of Taylor's music when we don't want them to. So I wonder how much that factored into this decision as well, as, her originals not being worth as much as they hoped they would be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought about that too. Like, I wonder if there was somebody in the room that kind of looked at it also from like the emotional, like PR standpoint for them, being like, hey, if we are the ones that give or that sell Taylor back her entire life's work, like, we will also go down in history as being those people. Like,
correct.
That's just solid, good PR for like the rest of their life, I guess.
Yeah, Scooter will always be the villain. They're the ones that saved the day.
Yeah,
exactly.
And made $60 million off of it, so.
Okay, I want to go back now to some of what Taylor Swift said in the letter. And of course, people are pointing out all the Easter eggs. Whenever she said this and she had the 12, and she's changed the heading. It's no longer the Tortured Poets Department logo. Now it's a completely different logo at the top. But she did confess more than I took initially in this letter, and I'm not talking Easter eggs. And Britton Ray on TikTok broke down what all she confessed to.
The point was always to own her music. The point was always to own her music. The Taylor's versions have been so fun. We've embraced it with so much love and excitement, and I think that has been so special for her. But we cannot forget that the original point was because Taylor wanted to own her music. There are some things in this letter that we do not need to gloss over because she's been very open and vulnerable about these things for the first time. Number one is that this isn't something she's been wanting since 2019 when her music was stolen. She's been wanting this for 20 years. She said, I almost stopped thinking it could ever happen after 20 years of having the carrot dangled and then yanked away. That is a big misconception that she once owned her music and then it was stolen from her. She never owned her music. Her label did. She has wanted to own her music for her entire career. She also said those two albums, Rep and Debut, can still have their moment to reemerge when the time is right, if that would be something you guys would be excited about. But if it happens, it won't come from a place of sadness and longing for what I wish I could have. It will just be a celebration now. This makes it clear that the Taylor's version journey was not something that she was necessarily very happy to be doing. Obviously, I think she's been happy with the way the fans have embraced it, but there has been an element of sadness surrounding these re-records, and she's being open about that now. Because essentially, this is becoming clear that the Taylor's version project was just the best she could do. It was the only option she had to be able to own her own music. But bottom line is she wanted the originals. They They were hers. Her handwriting, her lyrics, her songs, her experiences, her life, her voice, her vocals, everything was hers. And not only was it taken from her, she never truly owned it until this day. She said, thanks to you and your goodwill, teamwork, and encouragement, the best things that have ever been mine finally actually are. This was the entire point. There is no room for being disappointed because this was never about us. This was never about us getting Taylor's version, vault tracks, anything like that. This was about her getting to own her work as an artist and taking a stand for all artists. This is setting a precedent for the music industry. This is going to trickle down to affect so many artists, labels, everything. It is a very good thing. We should all be so proud of her and so excited for her. A 20-year-long war has been won. The Great War, dare I say. Go stream Reputation and debut because it's Taylor's version now.
Love that. Love that.
I also love that she tied this part of her letter into one of her own songs. What was she saying about it them being mine? Now I'm drawing a blank.
Belongs to me.
Yeah, you
belong with me.
Yeah, well, that, but you were the best thing that's ever been mine.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And now she's saying this is the best thing that's ever been mine.
Yeah.
Mine.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah. No, I thought that was great. Also, Jess Dennison on TikTok, she pointed out something that I would have never thought of, but I think is absolutely genius. And this is the fact that Taylor Swift did not have to explain herself. She didn't have to.
I need y'all to remember that she did not have to do this. She did not have to put this letter out. And that if Taylor wasn't Taylor, any other artist could have signed Shamrock Holdings to sign NDAs of the deal so they could never speak about the deal. And then they would have still let the fans clown, kept the fan interaction, took all the extra money, still dropped Rep TV, still dropped Debut TV, and banked everything in with no one ever knowing that she made this deal. But instead, she took the potential hit to her notoriety and how popular she is right now with everyone wanting the re-records. And she put out a statement to her fans to say, hey, this is actually what's going on, complete transparency.
Yeah, she didn't have to. She didn't have to tell us. But she did.
Isn't it also kind of crazy? Do y'all remember, like, I want to say it was like a month ago, we like kind of mentioned it on the podcast. Like we were like, I have a vivid memory of us kind of, I don't remember in what episode, but it was in the past like month or two that we were like, is it possible that she just bought back her masters and we just don't know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like we kind of like hit, I mean, we obviously know that like she's taking a break after the Eras tour. It was so daunting, and we've all been saying like, you know, take the longest break that you need, everything. But it kind of got to like a little bit of a point, like a little Swiftie intuition where we were like, is it possible that she just bought back her masters? And then I remember us saying like, no, because if that would have happened, we would know about it. Like, because I think that we just have this relationship with Taylor where we know that she has carried us along like in her journey through not just like musically in her life and things like that, but also through the whole thing about the re-recordings, you know? And we were like, if she were to buy her masters back, like there's no way Taylor wouldn't tell us that, because I think at one point somebody even considered like, oh, it's possible she bought it back, but she's still gonna, like, she's not going to say anything, still release her versions and, you know, make all the money and, you know, keep everything. And then we later find out that she like bought her masters back. But it's like, no, she didn't do that. She's like, is telling us exactly what's going on and stuff. And I think I really appreciate that. And I think that's also part of why we as Swifties just support her so loyally, like to our absolute core. Like I saw someone online kind of saying like, you know, like, oh, like she just kind of redid her music and you guys all paid all this money for it. And sorry, there's cars that are driving by now.
Tell them to be quiet. You're talking about Taylor Swift.
Honk if you like Taylor Swift.
Honk if you like Taylor Swift. But anyway, people were kind of criticizing Swifties because they were like, y'all realize that she just played you, right? Like she just resold her albums to you and now she like owns everything and like whatever. But it's like, no, like that's not the point. Like the point is that like we support her, and like kind of like the video that you played earlier about like there's something about supporting the work when it's in her hands. Mm-hmm. And if she were to do it all over again, I would buy every single album all over again. And so it's just there's this different relationship between Swifties and Taylor where like the loyalty and the support is just like so solid.
Yeah. And she's not, I mean, she's not a money grabber. Not whenever she does everything that she does for everybody, for the communities that she goes through, for all the people on her tour. I mean, she's not just taking advantage of us, and she could have, and we wouldn't have known. NDAs could have been signed. I mean, I just But no, that's not Taylor Swift. Instead, she's telling us everything that's going to happen or everything that's been happening rather than give me money, I'm putting out more versions.
It's almost like she knew that Swifties would share this joy with her just as much as she is having.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder how many people knew that she had bought her albums back. Because if we're finding out about it at the end of May, she may have taken this photo shoot in March. Negotiations probably didn't happen over just 24 hours. It was probably a month or 2 or 3. Like, was she still on tour? Was this December when it at least initially started, kind of started having some negotiations back and forth? Okay, let's loop the lawyers in. Let's get PR roped in here. Like, was it 50 people that knew? Was it 100 people that knew? I don't know. I would just love to know that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that NDA that they had to sign because this is a closely kept secret.
Yeah.
Or was it truly like 4 people that knew? I don't know, because it was such a
hush, hush.
Closely guarded secret.
Yeah.
But if you're taking the photo shoot, the photographer probably knew, the hair and makeup person probably knew, the stylist knew, because they can see what she's doing at this photo shoot, you know?
I mean, even with
good.
with folklore, she didn't have a big team. She did her own hair and makeup. I mean, she needed it to be a very big secret, so she just
kept it small.
Yeah.
Can we also put it into perspective? We got a message yesterday on our Instagram from a listener that did the math on what $360 million to Taylor Swift, like the equivalent of what that is to the average person. And like after doing like all of the math, essentially with Taylor Swift's like net, value and like everything that she's worth and with the Eras Tour and like everything, she's a billionaire, right? If you take $360 million to Taylor Swift and equivalent that to the average person, that's like if the average person spent $17,000, which, yes, it is a lot, but you put it into the perspective of like buying a used car or college tuition. You know what I mean? It's like it is a lot of money, but it is an investment that you make in yourself, at one point. And so for her, $360 million, like, in the aspect of the deal of like how much she bought them for versus how much they were sold for. But then you also put it into the perspective of like she has the money over and over and over and over again to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then it was bought by me.
Oh my God, iconic.
Love it.
Absolutely iconic.
I love that. And speaking of people who would be in the inner circle and would know about what Taylor Swift is up to is definitely Jack Antonoff. And I'm sure y'all saw how he celebrated. He celebrated this milestone by tweeting "Rep Forever, guilt-free listening," and had this clip attached.
That was the last time
So he released that. I just thought that was so funny because that's such an iconic moment for Swifties.
What was the first song that you guys listened to after this news broke?
Ooh, oddly enough, I was listening to Reputation. I specifically, not full discography, I put it on Reputation on my way to work yesterday. So I already had that playing in my car. So I don't know what song was up.
I mean, I definitely went back and listened to the old 1989. That's just my favorite album. So I was like, okay, I can listen to the younger sounding version of Taylor singing Style, my favorite.
I think Delicate popped up.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Love that. What about you, Anna?
So Ryan and I had like a 5-hour road trip to get to where I am right now. And when I told him because he was at work all day. And so like I was telling him everything about what had happened and stuff. And I was like, so you know what this means? And so we listened to Reputation start to finish on the road trip.
No, that's great. And Nick, I love that you just said that about listening to old 1989 because Libby Lou on TikTok, again, she's a lot like me and Amy, and she posed this question, and I thought it'd be fun for the Lobsters to weigh in on it.
I got into Taylor Swift after she had re-released 3 of the 4 re-records that she did. It was like right before 1989 came out, and I was semi-familiar with 1989 just because it had a lot of hits that were on the radio. So I have not listened to the original versions of Fearless, of Speak Now, of Red. Of a lot of the songs on 1989, I'm not intimately familiar with the original versions. So this is kind of like new music for me. This is kind of like new music day. So I want to know, OG Swifties, what do you prefer in the original version? I know Better Than Revenge. I know that lyric change. I've been there already. But give me some other ones. What do I need to be listening to now that we have freedom? Freedom!
I mean, I really like a song like 22. The original version. I just feel like you can hear her young sounding voice. It's a lot more, there's a lot more innocence in it. There's a lot more like fun in the moment excitement for that. Whereas when you're a little older singing about when you turn 22, it's just a little bit different vibe.
Yeah.
Or even something like 15. I guess it has to be a number with me. It has to be either 22 or 15.
I know, but those are great examples.
Yeah. And I just, at the very beginning of this podcast, whenever she started the re-recording process and we started this podcast, Amy and I were newer Swifties that came along later. So we hadn't listened to Fearless or Red the first time. We listened to it for the first time as we were breaking down Taylor's version.
Yeah.
So even though I know those songs, I don't know them in my head that I know every version. I can just hear and try to decipher if she was young or not.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all songs the newer Swifties should go back and listen to. Listen to the old versions, or are you just going to check them all out? You're going to take it off of Taylor's version. Now it's just going to be Taylor Swift everything and see for yourself what you like.
I have two that come to mind.
Okay.
Go and listen to the original version of Last Kiss, and there's a shaky breath in the bridge that I think that she tried to maybe redo in Taylor's version, but it's not the same. You know, it's just not the same. And then also there's like a laugh in Hey Steven that she redid on the new version, which is really, really great because she is older. But listening to it side by side with the original, like, it's just, that was a really good question to pose about like those little tiny details from the original versions. But I think the younger she is, the more you can tell, kind of like what you were saying earlier. But the shaky breath in Last Kiss, that is top tier for me.
So here's a little tiny detail from Reputation that she was probably dreading re-recording or figuring out how she's going to do this, and now she doesn't have to.
The laugh at nice thing?
No.
Oh.
She doesn't have to figure out which kid to say gorgeous because there's a lot of drama right now with her and Blake.
No kidding.
And so she's probably like, I'll pay anything to not have to figure out what kid to do because probably wouldn't be one of their kids, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really solid point.
She has a lot of choices with those Kelsey kids.
That's true.
There's a lot of girls in
That's a great
Jason
point.
Kelsey family. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, Lacey, that's exactly who it would be from. It would be one of the Kelsey kids. That's exactly right.
Answered question.
That's it. So
question answered.
Question answered. Oh my gosh, good point.
So,
and you know what, Nick? When you bring that up, it also made me think like, of course, I was excited for Reputation Taylor's version. However, I will say that I would get a little bit anxious thinking about Taylor having to relive all the Kanye stuff.
Right.
Like in present day, because you know that like if she put out her version, all of that would resurface. Kanye would do some sort of stupid shit and still weigh in on it present day. And I kind of feel a little bit of relief that she doesn't have to deal with that. You know?
That's true. And she's also singing about the beginning of a relationship she had with Joe. She's singing about those bubbly, warm feelings about a person who she probably at one point thought she was going to marry and have kids with. And she had her longest relationship ever with him. And she has to go through and relive those emotions.
But Nick,
again,
even though stuff sucks in the moment whenever it's happening and it might still anger you in a way, you're not sad, especially whenever you're happy with someone. Then
Very
it's
true.
just, so I mean, even though that was a difficult time for her and the breakup was difficult, now I would imagine she's sitting on her high horse so happy that that music doesn't make her sad anymore. She just remembers, you know, a time I was happy, but I also remember a time where I was very much not happy. And now look at where I am. So I think her being in her current state, it wouldn't. The Kanye stuff could still mess with her. And I mean, I'm not saying her relationship stuff wouldn't, but you break up, you get divorced, you get over it. You get with the next person and it's all good and then you're happy.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But speaking of her not having to worry about like which kid to get to re-record or how am I going to do this laugh and how I don't have to do, we have nice things. Grace Asante on TikTok says, obviously she's not re-recording Reputation.
Yeah, and it makes sense that she's only recorded a quarter of Reputation. Yeah, no fucking shit. You think she was gonna record, and please don't ever become a stranger whose laugh I could recognize anywhere again? My baby's fit like a daydream, walking with his head down. I'm the one he's walking to. Is this the end of all the endings? Oh. And all at once, you are the one I have been waiting. I loved you in secret. First sight, yeah, we love without reason.
What's going on? What's going on over there?
She's saying no. She is agreeing. No way. And one last TikTok that I want to play. Nikki King, old 112-day theory TikTok queen. She says that the numbers are still numbering, but this number that we're talking about, or that she's talking about particularly, is the number at the start of the Eras Tour, whenever the clock counts down and it starts at an odd number. Yeah.
What if I told you that the math is still mathing? The Eras Tour countdown clock started at 2 minutes and 24 seconds, 2:24. Taylor began the re-record process with the first ever Taylor's version, Love Story Taylor's version, released on February 12th of 2021. She announced the album on the 11th, and at midnight that night, she dropped the first TV. And today is the day that she has finished that mission. She has reclaimed all of her work. She started reclaiming her work exactly 224 weeks ago. And there's just some more synchronicity to all of this. Ryan pointed out to me on Tuesday that it was possible that that story about Taylor possibly being able to buy back her work might have been used to get that idea in our head that it was a possibility, and that it was likely that both versions of Love Story, the original as well as the re-record, were going to cross the 1 billion stream threshold this week. Taylor made her announcement before noon today, and this afternoon, the original Love Story passed that threshold. And Kayla pointed out in my comments that the Gold Rep bodysuit was released exactly 224 days ago. It's just wild to me that after all the synchronicities that we have found over the past 2.5 years involving the numbers 112 and 224, that this re-record process took 224 weeks. Again, I am so proud of her. I am so happy for her. And I'm so happy that the fans could help her complete this project because of our enthusiastic support. Today has literally felt like Christmas in May. As far as what comes next, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah. Did she say the clock or did I make that up? I think the countdown clock starts with 2:24.
Yeah, I think she said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was so geeking out looking at all this, and I don't know. I get my information mixed up sometimes.
Can I just say, though, that out of all of this, and speaking of numbers and things, the one thing that made me sad was that when this was announced on May 30th, 2025, those numbers don't add up to 13.
Oh man. I guess you really can't plan for everything.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to our voicemail from our listeners, let me encourage our friends to join us over in the Lobster Lounge. What is the Lobster Lounge? It's our little social media platform where our Swifties get together and just geek out over news. Like, I don't know, Taylor getting all of her masters. There's so many comments going on in the Lobster Lounge right now. People are celebrating, so excited. Just join us there. That's station.page/13 station.page/13. It's free. Just join us and meet your new Swiftie friends and tell us your thoughts. Tell us what songs we need to listen to, what OG versions we need to now listen to for the people who don't know. And let's talk, let's chat, let's have a good time at station.page/13. See you over in the Lobster Lounge. Now, there has been something that we've been asking for on this podcast. A professional actor sent us some options for something that we have been requesting for a while.
Hey, Disney Podcast, it's your bestie, Izzy. So I love listening, obviously, but as I'm going through, you guys are always wondering, do you need a clip for To the Bridge? Even though I think Nick does a fairly great job at doing it himself, I was like, let me give them some options. Since I tried looking online for a lineup of To the Bridge, but it doesn't work. So I think Nick should just do it. But I'm going to give you some options and flex my actor skills, and you guys can decide if you would like to use them or not. So here we go. Many options. To the bridge! To the bridge. To the bridge! To the bridge. To the bridge. To the bridge. To the bridge. Yeah, to the bridge, man. To the bridge. Oh my God, let's go to the bridge. Oh my God, it's time to go to the bridge. To the bridge. To the bridge. To the bridge. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye.
Thank you, Izzy.
You got the job, Izzy.
You got it. We can use one of those. We can use a different one every time.
I think we should use all of them.
All of them.
Every time.
And guys, I kid you not, last night at 11 o'clock at night, I was looking for clips online about something to the bridge. I was asking ChatGPT. I was asking anyone, like, give me a movie line. There's one line in Lord of the Rings that I couldn't find, and there was one line of Sandra Bullock saying it in The Proposal when she's singing a song. She goes, take him to the bridge. And I was like, oh, maybe that could work. But Izzy's are so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Izzy.
I love that.
That was great. That was great.
But can we get one more?
We're missing just a little something, Izzy.
Izzy, we need a 13-minute file from you. Okay, sir.
Oh, so great.
But that was great. Thank you for calling our voicemail. And don't forget, you can leave us a voicemail anytime and join us over in the Lobster Lounge. Leave us all your thoughts. Lots of places to reach us. Okay, final thoughts, everybody. What are we thinking?
Anna, what are your final thoughts?
Well, first, I agree that we should use all of Izzy's at the same time. I loved every single one. I was I was on my hands, counting, okay, take 4, no, take 6, whatever. And then I was like, no, I think actually all of them at the same time would be great. Okay, final thoughts. Oh, my God. How can you even wrap this up? I mean, having supported Taylor or having been a fan of Taylor for for as long as I have been, it's been the greatest relationship I've ever had, honestly. And the thing is, when Taylor first announced that she was going to re-record her albums, and I remember saying this at the very, very beginning, was Taylor Swift's music has always had my back. It has always been there for me when real people aren't. And in turn, I will always be there for her as well. And I will always support everything that she does. This is the biggest win in her career. And I feel like we as Swifties are all celebrating it with her. It's a win for her, so it's a win for us. I'm just so happy and so proud of her. And I cannot wait to see what she brings with this joy, because we're going to hear all of it pretty soon. I'm sure through more music and more lyrics, this woman is never going to stop creating art. And I feel like it is the most incredible time. It's a good day to be a Swiftie, right? It's just absolutely insane. I think we picked the right person to catapult into fame, and I think we picked the right person to support and treat like queen and mother. But yeah, I'm so over the moon for her. And also, thank you guys so much for having me join the podcast via phone. I know it's been a little tricky, but this is such a monumental piece of Swiftie history. And though I'm not there in person, I really appreciate you guys having me on the phone, and also our listeners putting up with me being chiming in via phone. And this entire time there has been a stray cat laying in my lap, which I think is just a little poetic. in a way. But yeah, I just, I'm going to cry if I keep talking. So
What's the cat's name, Anna?
I've decided to name the cat Karma.
Perfect. Yeah, no, we're so glad that you were able to join. I hate that you're not here on such an important day, but stuff happens. We all have different schedules and traveling. So I'm just glad that you were able to join us for this. But no, what Anna said. So proud of our girl for standing up for herself, for not just taking what the man says, for knowing, no, I don't agree with you. This is wrong. I'm going to choose my own path. For her to fight, to work. I mean, what an inspiration to show people, because once upon a time, I didn't have a voice. Once upon a time, I was too afraid to speak up, and I would get ran over, and I wouldn't take up for myself because you're not supposed to speak back, because this is the man in charge, because you know better than I do, because you're the boss. And Taylor is just an absolute perfect example of taking up for yourself and standing up for what's right, and not just sitting down and being quiet because you're told to. That it is okay to take up space. It is okay to make noise. It is okay to stand up for yourself and to say that, no, this is not right. And everything that she has worked towards has paid off. And this is the biggest payoff for her to date, a 20-year battle that she has now won. And I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy for her.
You know, I'm going back to less than 24 hours ago when we got this news, and maybe it was because I was alone or whatever, but it was just like, when I found out about this news, I wasn't running around my house. I wasn't doing cartwheels in the front yard or anything like that because I was so excited. It was just like a relief. It was just like a weight was lifted off of all of our shoulders, off of Taylor's shoulders. And it was just like, oh, she did it. Like, the battle's over. And I'm asked all the time, especially as a guy who's a big Taylor Swift fan, like, why? You know, because it's probably not a typical thing for a guy to be a huge Swiftie. And exactly what Lacey, what you just said, it's just like, I love that she is not afraid to be herself. I love that she's not afraid to speak up. I love that she is a pretty good role model for people of any age. And it's just like, I love that when she sets her mind on something, she's determined she's going to do it. It might take her 20 years to do it, but she's going to do it. And I just love being able to celebrate these wins with you guys, for Taylor. And so it's just, like, my overall thoughts is just like, wow. Like, we can sit back in awe of someone who's, like, in charge of the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
It's just, like, really cool to see her set her own course, and it's just such a testament to her, and it's just such an inspiration for everyone of any walk of life. No matter what situation you're in, you have a genre of music to listen to that is Taylor Swift. And here we are. Like, it's just so cool. It's just, like, amazing. I'm proud. I'm excited. And it's just like, man, what a relief.
And
for
she's
everyone.
changing it for other people and not just for herself.
Yeah.
She's
Absolutely.
changing it for artists.
It's totally not selfish of her. I mean, in some ways it is.
Sure.
But in some ways, it's completely changing an industry that seemed like it couldn't be changed. It feels like a David and Goliath story. And David won, you know? She's the man. Amy, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I just think it's pretty incredible, the power she's displayed. I got a little emotional 10 minutes ago. I don't know. I'm still processing it. I'm just so happy for her and the things that she's doing to change what has always been.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
It's great. All right. Well, Anna, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, everyone, for listening to us. If you haven't yet and you need more context, like we said, go back and listen to one of our first episodes, Revenge of the Re-Records, and you can get a lot more context about everything we just talked about. It's another hour-long podcast you can listen to if you want to hear us talk. Scroll way back on iTunes or on Spotify to find that. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on right now. All the ways to contact us are in the description of this podcast. Our phone number to leave a voicemail, our email, our website. Just look for it in the description of this podcast. And join us next time when we're talking Taylor Swift.
Hey, pause 1 second. Anna, It's not loud and it's totally fine. Could you mute your phone whenever you're not talking just because there's birds in the background and stuff we're picking up? It's so stupid and it does not matter.
The birds are beautiful, but they are annoying.
Are they seagulls? Is it an Easter egg?
1989 Taylor's version coming soon.
Thanks for listening. The 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.